across Australia. Here in Granville, we would like to acknowledge the Darughan people, the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, and pay our respect to their elders, past and present. Thank you very much. We have to work on our timing as African. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters of the diaspora, and friends, good afternoon. It with deep pride, hope, and excitement that I welcome you all today to the official launch of the Africa Diaspora Cooperative. This is a historic moment for our community and a bold step towards shaping our collective future as Africans. Today is more than an event. It's a movement. A movement born out of love for Africa, our continent, respect for our journey, and belief in the power of unity. For far too long, the African diaspora has been scattered across the globe, rich in talent, ideas, and potential, but lacking a united platform to bring our strength together. That has to change today. The Africa Diaspora Cooperative is not just an organization, it's a vision, a space where we, the African diaspora and our friends, can gather not just to talk, but to act, to build, to invest, to support, to grow all together. Because among us we have teachers, we have lawyers, we have doctors, nurses, we have engineers, we have tech experts, we have artists, we have business owners, and we have dreamers among us. But no individual can do what a community can do. The cooperative is our opportunity to combine our skills, our resources, and our dreams into something bigger, something lasting. We are here today to create opportunities for each other, to build businesses and community initiatives we believe in. We are here to mentor the next generation and leave a legacy of strength, pride, and dignity. Let us not wait for others to create our future for us. Let us own it. Let us design it. Let us fund it. And let us govern it. So we invite you not just to clap and cheer today, but to join us. Become a member. Bring your skills. Share your ideas. Let's make this a true reflection of the African spirit. Resilient, generous, and powerful. So I say to you all today, welcome to the beginning of something special. And let's believe it. Welcome to a space where we build not just for today, for our generations to come. Welcome to Africa. Welcome to Africa Diaspora Cooperative. Now we're going to do something prophetic. Can you all stand? Yeah? Hold hands if you can. Hands together. And I'm going to read my last sentence. Let us rise as one and show the world what unity, vision, and action from the African diaspora looks like. Thank you. Karibu, Murakazaneza, welcome, and bienvenue. Thank you.
Oh, Nadine, that was beautiful. Felt very inspired. Thinking about building the next generation, how much talent we have. It's truly amazing, the brain drain in Africa, and to be able now to then utilize it to build something bigger, better, and for generations to come. It's just fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Nadine. Let's give her another round of applause
for the good welcome. And I will start by introducing the key committee members of the African Diaspora Cooperative. It cuts across several states, cuts across members of different countries, and therefore we have a lot of professional people in the committee. I'll start with the first is Reverend Maethia. He's a committee member. He's based in New Zealand. And the second one is James Abiero. He's a committee member too, based in Southern Australia. And we have two members who are based in Western Australia. That is John Boogie, he's a director, and Rhoda Okiambe, who is also a committee member. They are both based in Western Australia, that is in Perth. We have Dr. Jane Timugen Rassington. She's the director and also doubles up as a secretary, and she's based in Queensland. And we also have Mr. Omondi Owino. He's also a director based in Queensland. We have Dr. Yvette Romani. She's a committee member, an interim committee member. She's based in SCT in Canberra. And we have Ms. Mashepo Molala. She's also a committee member. She's based here in New South Wales. She's actually here. So the ones who are here, when I say your name, you can yes, so Mashepo Molala. And we have Nyamushi Kamea. He's a committee member also in the IT. And myself, I'm also a committee member. We have Lawrence Karithi, he's head of legal. We have Richard Walusindi, who is our director in charge of finances. We have Sheila Matete, she's in charge of corporate governance. She's away today. Just apologies. And Dr. Nadine Shima, she was here. She's here. And then Mwangi Wamutuanene is the chair and the president of the organization. As I said, we cut across different states, different areas of work. And in terms of governance and management, the board of directors is having 6 members. So their work mostly is operations and executive, and the work is pro bono. At this point in time, because we are just starting, and we need to have members to drive the process, to start businesses. So it's pro bono, and the first term is 25 years, and we meet once a month to deliberate on the plans, how do we encourage members to join, what are the options we have for the future. So once a month meetings. And these are the directors. So I'll start with one only with Wamuchwanene. I've already talked about it. He's based in New South Wales. He works in the pharmaceutical industry. And we have Dr. Jen Chingen. He's the director and also secretary. And Jen is a social environmental scientist based in Queensland. And then we have Richard Olfimbi. His area is more of the finance. He's a chartered accountant. So you are sure your finances are well taken care of. And then we have John Ruby, who is a director. I said he's based in Western Australia. He's head of investments. So that's where he has a subcommittee. We sit down and then we'll talk about what are the projects, what are the proposals, what we want to kind of bring together to the committee for them to be able to prioritize. And then we have Omondi Owino, who is a director, together with Nadine. They're both directors in charge of membership drive. So the organization of this meeting today is more or less between Omondi and Nadine. So we can give them a good clap. All right. Then we have the other committee members. As I told you earlier, we have Lawrence, who's in charge of legal. Sheila looks at corporate governance. I myself look at risk management aspects. James Abiero looks at finance. Rhoda Otiambe is part of the secretariat together with Jen. Nyamushi Kamea looks at IT and administration. And Reverend James Maidia is in charge of youth membership. And I say James is based in New Zealand. And therefore, we work in these subcommittees, which are, I said, investments, finance and treasury, audit and risk management. And in terms of the account operations, we already have an account with 4 signatories. The president, secretary, and treasurer, and also the head of investments. Therefore, the account, no one can go in alone to do anything. All of them are signatories, so they have to sign all of them for accountability purposes. Member participation, we'll be having annual general meetings, and also financial reporting at the AGM every year. And members also have voting rights. And the right to be heard, and also members will be involved in community events. For instance, social cultural aspects, member education, and all the community events which involve the NDC membership. Based on that, those are the members, those are the directors, and I welcome Esther back.
Thank you very much, Pauline. Seems like quite an organized group, very full of professionals. As Nadine said earlier, the African community is rich in talent. And clearly, we can see based on that committee, there's a lot of talent in there. Now, I'm not sure, I don't know how much people here know about cooperatives, but coming from Kenya, cooperatives are a thing, a big thing. You know, people growing up, especially, everyone joins we call them circles in Kenya, cooperative movement, because what happens is, most of the time, you probably don't have a high enough salary to do everything you want. So the cooperative movement is a place where everyone, in fact, I'm a member of 2 circles, I'll confess, 2 cooperatives in Kenya. You join, it helps you with your investments, it helps you borrow money to pay school fees for your kids, it helps in all sorts of ways. So most of the Kenyan people, at least, were educated in cooperatives and the cooperative movement. And I think the same happens across Africa and even Asia, because I know there's a lot of microfinance, micro situation. I've worked in cooperative insurance as well, so it's a very big thing, it's so powerful. But fun fact, I didn't know that in Australia, there's also cooperatives. This is something I learned, and I think we have Sam here, who I will introduce and he'll speak to us next, who has worked in cooperatives. I was very surprised. I thought it was a, emerging market thing. That's what we call them these days. But it is everywhere. And actually, even when we think of mutuals and all that, or even insurance, it's all about pooling risk and bringing things together. It's a concept that has been from many years ago. And it's so good to see us now embracing it and organizing something where we can all partake and participate. So our next speaker, he's the current secretary of the Co-op Federation in Australia. So this is a regulated thing, it's a real thing, it is real, it's substantial. So Mr. Sam Bine is his name, I hope I said that correctly. Yeah. Sam has been an active member and director in the cooperative sector for more than 25 years. Wow. He became a director of the Federation in 2013 and secretary in 2016. He's also a former mayor and a director of local government super. Sam holds a Masters of Management from the University of Technology, Sydney, UTS, and is a fellow of the Australian Institute of Company Directors. He's passionate about the cooperative enterprise model that delivers benefits to members and their communities rather than simply profit to often distant shareholders. How fantastic. Sam, welcome, and please tell us more about the cooperative movement in Australia. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. You can hear me okay? Great. So yes, I'm Sam Byrne, and I'm from the Co-op Federation, which is a peak body supporting cooperatives across most of Australia. We have a sister federation in Western Australia. So other than that, we do everything except Western Australia. First, I'll just acknowledge that we're on Barramudigal land and acknowledge elders past and present. Thank you very much to the board, to Mutu, for inviting me. It's great to be here. I'm really sorry I was late. I've only just arrived. My father was English, and to be late is terrible. His watch was always 10 minutes ahead of the real time. And so for my father, I'm sorry, I feel bad. I'm glad you started a little bit late. That helped me. But I was down last night in Griffith, in this Riverina of New South Wales, because the cooperative was having its 100th birthday. Wow. And they had a big dinner. So, and then the planes were delayed coming back. So that's my excuse. So we have about 200 member cooperatives in our organisation, including Africa Diaspora Cooperative, across all industries. So we have communities like yours pulling funds and wanting to support each other, but we have fishing co-ops, and we have housing co-ops, and we have cycle courier co-ops, and we have ski lodges and childcare centres and everything, all where that structure sits underneath the organisation. So maybe that's what I can just talk a little bit about. It was interesting last night, someone spoke at the dinner and she said, look, joiners are winners. And that, I think it was a really simple message, but together you can be strong, and that's really what cooperatives are about. So when I first heard about you, the co-op was still being set up and registered, and I helped with some of that process through the New South Wales Fair Trading, and it was a little bit of a windy process, but we got through them. And now the co-op is legally registered and an incorporated entity, and we've made some changes, but we just exist to support you. So with the technical advice, with connecting with all the other co-ops in Australia, and we're here today to support you, and we'll be here into the future. In Australia, really, there are two main structures for commerce, for enterprise. One is the company, and one is the cooperative. But we are very disappointing compared to some countries like Kenya, in like Spain, in Nepal, many countries where there's a lot more cooperatives and a lot more community ownership than in Australia. But it's something we can change, it's something we can build. And at the moment, there's about 1,500 cooperatives in Australia across all industries. The biggest one, its turnover is about $4 billion. So it's an enormous cooperative of grain growers in Western Australia. But they own ports and train lines and silos, and it's a very, very big organisation. But they come down to very small ones as well, and very, very diverse group of enterprises. But always it's about people coming together to do good, to support each other, to strengthen each other, and that's how we're different. Companies are, focused on shareholder return, on making profit, maximizing profit. Co-ops are not. Co-ops, we talk about surplus instead of profit. We talk about member benefit and community benefit, not about profit and just maximizing return. So we stand as a different structure and a powerful structure, I think. A few of the other features, I shouldn't take too much of your time, and if I get started, I will. It's the fundamental democracy of co-ops. So in a company, if you have 51% of the shares, you control the company. You have 51% of the votes. In a co-op, it's strictly one member, one vote. So it doesn't matter how many shares you have in Africa Diaspora Co-op, or whether you're President Mutu, or whether you're just an ordinary member. When it comes to the AGM, you have one vote, and Mutu has one vote. So that's one way that we are different. Many people choose the cooperative structure to be safer from takeover, from a group taking control and changing the purpose of the organisation. In that democracy, in those numbers of members, you can be much safer than in in a company structure. The second key difference about co-ops is active membership. So cooperatives, you can't just be a member and do nothing. You need to participate, you need to support it. Every co-op is like that, doesn't matter what industry. In your co-op, it's not too strenuous. You just have to come to a meeting once a year, participate in some initiative of the co-op once a year to keep your membership active. But that's important. It means that you're supporting it. It means that you're engaging with it. It means that it will survive and thrive if you support it. But active membership is the second. And I guess the third big thing about co-ops, and you will know this in Kenya and you will know this around the world, there are global principles for cooperatives. We're a global family. We have 7 international principles about how we operate. It doesn't matter what country in the world you are, those principles are the same. They're written into the law in Australia, written into the law in Kenya, and every other country. And they're a principled framework for how to operate. Many companies don't have any principles at all. They're purely about profit. Well, co-ops always have principles, and they're locked into their constitution. Some of those, I won't go through them all, but concern for the community is one of the 7. Well, that fits with this organisation and all of our co-ops. Another one is cooperation among co-ops, and that's partly how I can help you to connect you with other cooperatives around Australia, and we should they should work together, and they will work together and support you. So that's an important principle. What else? As I said, we have that membership support base, and we'd love you to stay as a member. We can continue to support you, continue to connect you to that family. And this year, actually, 2025 is an international year of cooperatives declared by the United Nations. So this year, all through the year, we've been celebrating cooperative enterprise across the world. I should finish, but I'll just talk about a couple of examples of other co-ops in Australia, some new ones, and similar ones to you. So in Sydney, there's a couple of other co-ops that have started in the last couple of years in different communities with very much the same purpose. So there's one called Share for Care Co-op. They're not very publicly known, but it's the Bangladeshi community based sort of around Lakemba, and they want to have a childcare centre with Bengali and English, a bilingual childcare centre. That's their purpose. And so they've formed a co-op, members are putting money in, and they've bought the house where they're going to have the childcare centre. They have builders and planners and engineers and childcare centre managers all in the membership, and they're up and running. They're going, and the childcare centre, I haven't heard the latest, but I knew they bought the property, so they're halfway there. They'll have to go through the approvals, but they've raised a significant amount of money. So Share for Care Co-op for the Bangladeshis, and they also have that cooperative knowledge from Bangladesh. There's a lot of co-ops in Bangladesh. The other co-op is called Delight Co-op. It's based in Auburn, around not far from here, and it's a Nepali church that's the base for that co-op. They give members who give the co-op money a return, and they lend out money to their community at a higher interest rate. The co-op survives. They're going very well, and they're able to support their young students, young Nepali students who've come to Australia to study, and others to start businesses, start restaurants. So they're going really well as well. So Delight Co-op is the other one. And then my final two examples are different ones. So it's when communities have wanted to ensure that their towns still have shops, services, and it's a really big movement in Australia now. So recently down in Victoria, there's a town called Castlemaine, and there's a large building in the centre of town where a lot of community groups and local organisations are based. The owners wanted to sell, and the community really feared that the building would go to apartments or something and lose its community use. So they formed a co-op, the Castlemaine Community Investment Co-op, and they've bought the building. They raised $1.9 million from the community in a month. Nearly everybody in Castlemaine put some money in, and so they've raised the money, so they're going to buy the building from and then they're going to slowly pay back everyone the money out of the rent that they get for running the building, and in the end the co-op will own the building, have paid off the members, and then they're going to look at another building in town. So they're really looking at ensuring that their town has assets for the community. And the final one is in Cootamundra in New South Wales. So the Target Country store, the clothing store closed in Cootamundra, and particularly women couldn't get underwear in Cootamundra. It was a crisis of underwear. They couldn't find underwear, particularly women, but also men. And it was the last store with really an underwear store. And so that community got together and said, right, well, we need a clothing store. And so they raised $700,000 from members. Some wealthy people in the town put in large contributions, but lots of other people put in small contributions. And they've now opened a clothing store, and they're selling underwear again in Cootamundra. So you'll be relieved that now if you go to Cootamundra, people will be wearing underwear. But these are the things that I can do. No. But that's probably enough from me. Please, I'll be here the rest of the afternoon, so come and talk to me, ask questions, everything. Thank you.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
going to be remembered for underwear.
That's right. And thank you very much for those examples. I think bringing it to reality in Australia and how it's happening, I think it's so, so good. And yes, we will remember you for underwear. That's for sure. But those are such good examples because it's making it real here where we are. And I think what's interesting, as Nagit said before, creating something that is generational. Most of the Africans here are migrants, they're first generation migrants. So the Bengalis are probably a few more generations ahead of us. So I think one of the things we think about is if we start it now, then it's going to be easy, it's going to grow, and we can buy department stores even, who knows. So fantastic, thank you very much. Now next we have up our president, Mr. Mtwanene Mwangi, to come and at least tell us what the vision is, whether it's department stores or childcare centers, and how we're making it all a reality in Australia for us. Bring it home for us, Mr. Mtwanene.
Thank you, Esther. And indeed, yes. I do remember Sam talked about underwears, but also for men, so don't remember him for only one side. It's an honor really to be here. And before I begin, somebody prompted me and said, you should actually talk about the name. And the name is Africa Diaspora Cooperative. And it is intentionally with a K. And I do remember, I'll tell you a short story, this time different. We visited one of the embassies trying to talk to some of the dignitaries in Canberra. And we had sent them a letter. And because when they saw Africa Diaspora, they saw the K, they thought, these people, honestly, they can't even spell. They can't even spell Africa. They are not serious. They're not serious. But they did request that we go and meet them, so we actually went to meet them with some other, very honorable ladies, part of the committee. And we got some dress down regarding the fact that we couldn't spell we couldn't spell Africa, so we can't really be serious. And then, of course, I tried to explain that, look, it is K intentionally with a K. And I explained where the real name comes from. Now, I don't have the exact wording for it, but it is derived from the original Egyptian writings. There's a guy in 1818, Massey, describes it so well. He says, Afru means to come from. Ka means the source. So basically, Africa is coming from the source. So anybody in Europe or wherever they were, they would look at Africa and know that is the source, that is our source. This is where we have come from. So the K in Africa the K is a Ka. The CA is basically European. For us, it would be a Sa, not Ka, right? So we actually communicated that, and I believe we are in good books, but I think they're still looking at us in terms of are these people serious or not. So it is Africa, intentionally with a K, to honor our roots. And it is so fitting. That is why we began by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land. So all of us are here today because of one consciousness, and that is the possibility that there's a better tomorrow, right? And fellow Africans, as I do deep down in our bones, that a progressive-minded community, and we've heard many from Sam, thanks for that, can and will achieve greater synergistic possibilities compared to what you and I as an individual can. And we unanimously believe that there is possibility in tomorrow. But again, belief alone is not enough. Like faith, belief without action is dead. So we need to take action. And we are so good also at procrastinating. We shall do this next year. In Kiswahili, we say sijajipanga. When I organize myself, I'll do it. So the action has to be now. So the possibility of a better tomorrow is only guaranteed by taking action. If you want to go fast, by all means, walk alone. But if you want to go far, join a community. And as Sam said, those who join, they are not losers. Did you say something like that?
Join as a winner.
Join as the winners. Thanks for that. I should have written it down. Join as the winners. I might want to paraphrase this for you. This is an African proverb. And I'll say, if you want to go fast, by all means, you don't go alone. Man. And you've been doing that. And I've been doing that. But if you want to go far, really the community that you're going to join in Australia right now, that is heading in that direction, it is the Africa Diaspora Cooperative. This is the corporation going far, the community going far. So as I said, we are on a journey. It started last year when we did the virtual launch. Whether we get where we are going in 1 year or in 101 years, it will happen. How fast or how big we get there depends on two things. It depends on you and me. Today I'm inviting you to make a personal decision whether you choose to go fast, do the things you've been doing alone, that's fine, or you choose to go far. And I say again, if it is fast, by all means, good for you. If you choose to go far, then let me propose to you that there's already a train headed in that direction of far, and that is ADC. Now somebody might be thinking, where is this ADC headed to? Here is our destination. It is also our definition of what far means. It means the social, cultural, and economic self-empowerment of all Africans and our children and our great-grandchildren who will be living in the diaspora. We are here, far away from home, as Nadine and Pauline said, but we are glad this is home. And we want to make it really be home. So the social, cultural, and economic self-empowerment of all of us and our descendants in the diaspora. That's our vision. And the big question for you is, do you want to be in this vision? Do you want to be a spectator? Or do you want to be a consumer? Or the proud owner of that dream, that vision? And standing here as the chair of the ADC, my agenda is only one really, is to articulate that vision so that it's clear, crystal to you, so that when you're making a decision, it is a well-informed decision. So I hope I'll do a good job. So let's get into it. I would like to start by answering 4 fundamental questions, and it is what, why, who, and how we envision to get to that vision. Let me begin with the why and who. In terms of who, every one of us has a part to play. As Nadine put it, Dr. Nadine put it, we must agree to own our narrative. We must agree to chart our own destiny. And we talk about that when we are having parties and we are drinking and we are eating meat. We are pretty good at that. We talk about these things, but we must really own this. For far too long, others have actually told our stories and convoluted them to their own benefits. The question is it time now for Africans to sit at the global economic table and decide our destiny? Is that the time? The fact is, in the global economic table, and this is talking big, and we need to dream big, nobody will give you their spot. Nobody. The East, the West will not relinquish their spot and say, oh, Africans, you can come and sit here. It will not. You or we have to own that spot. We have to work for that spot. We have to put in the hard yakka, as we say in Australia. Now, talking about the hard yakka, as migrants, Australia has been very kind to us. And I say blessings to all the indigenous people of this land. They have welcomed us, given us a place to call home, and generously shared their bounty. It is really now the time to give back and leave a legacy for the African Australian generations to come. Our vision, social, cultural, and economic empowerment, is really a double win, both for us as a community, but also for the wider multicultural Australia. When we do those businesses, when we run those projects, they benefit. It is really for us, for our benefit, but more so also for the other communities, because we won't become a burden to a country that has already welcomed us and given us a home. Now, how shall we achieve that vision? What is ADC going to do differently? Now, somebody says there are many people who start these things and then, they fall through, after 1 or 2 years. Trust me, we are not falling through. These are the questions in your mind, and the committee has been introduced, and you'll agree with me that it is a multi-talented committee. We have looked at these questions, we have debated these questions, and we have some answers. Now, these are not cast on stone. We invite you to bring in some wisdom in terms of other better ways of looking at things, right? I'll start with what we think to do. How to do this? We seek to aggregate 3 vital resources that we already have. One of them, human resource capital. The professionals that we have, and of course, some capital, some money. You can imagine, you can think of it as the 3-legged African stool. When we bring these 3 things together, synergistically employ for long-term investments that will create generational wealth. I'll say that again, that when we bring those 3 things, human resource capital, professional capital, the money in our pockets that we can put aside, put this in long-term investments, that is going to create generational wealth. Now, that's our mission. Looking at the human capacity, in 2021 census, there were 500,000 Africans living in Australia. In terms of the professional capacity, you name any field, you'll find us there, just like Dr. Nadine put it. Just a teaser for you, did you know that per unit population, the African community has one of the highest PhD holders in the diaspora? Did you know that? That's what you got. In terms of the capital, how much money do you and me, and how much money can you save? We are not asking everything. And an old friend of mine said, unfortunately it's long past, God bless him, he said, there's no little money or big money. What you do with what you have is really the key. But they also say that the proof is in the pudding. And the question you must be thinking is, these people started last year, what have they been doing? What is the proof? How have we been harnessing our capacity? Those 3 things. So I'll look at the professional resource. To celebrate our 2 months of launch, we organized the first Ideas Summit. On the 1st of November, we followed that through with the first inaugural Innovation Summit. Why did we do this? What was the value in this? Yes, it is to start the process of harnessing our professional capacity. That is invaluable. It is priceless. Our elder people said that in Kiswahili, akili ni mali, meaning what is in your brain is really what is your wealth. So if you bring the brain together, you're going to go far. Einstein said something like that. He said, your logic can bring you, can take you from point A to B, but in terms of vision, you need a vision, imagination to get you to the vision. How have we harnessed our capital so far? In December of last year, we invested a significant proportion of ADC fund in the money market that is growing. But interestingly, as we speak today, we have commissioned the development of a multi-vendor e-commerce platform. The business people will be happy to hear this. This platform is geared to bring together all the African-based businesses. I know they are small, I know their capital is small, but bring them together so that we can start trading together. And the underlying magic of the app is to slow the bleeding of the dollar from the African community. Now, I don't know how many of you know this. I know Councillor Ajay knows this, that for a study that was done in the US, it showed that when the African Americans get their dollar in the pocket, it only lasts there for 6 hours and it's gone out of the community. That's what happens. And I bet for Australia it's something like that or less. So if we can slow that, that'll be good. The second one, the second upcoming, will be an app that will harness our cultural activities together to bring that home. Because we know we are very good with celebrations, but sometimes they're overlapping one another. So when we harmonize that, it will be good. What about the future? This is the question people keep on asking. Where are you guys investing? And it's the story of the egg and the chicken. Which came first? We cannot invest when the money is not there. We need the money. We cannot invest when you're a spectator. As I said, the key word is aggregating what we have, yours and mine, for large-scale investments, compound that, economies of scale, that will guarantee a future for us. In terms of the projections, the committee is committed to this. And I'm so glad to hear some communities are already in childcare. So we are committed to childcare centers, nursing homes, or agribusiness. Because in terms of strategy, we want to invest where our people are, where we have capacity. Many of our people are already working in nursing homes. Others are working in childcare. Really, we're already working there. So what is the big deal about bringing our capital together to actually own this? Because when you do that, you are no longer working, receiving the same salary you are getting right now, but you are also benefiting as a member. So it comes back to you. That's our commitment. Now, I will invite the people to bring out their calculator because he brought some very big numbers. So I want people to bring up their calculator. Do you have a phone? Just bring out the phone because I want to shout some figures. Yes. I said we are 500,000 Africans in Australia. Suppose we get only 10% of that. So multiply that by 0.1. How many do we get? 5. We are 500. We are 500,000 multiplied by 0.1. 50,000. All right. One share is 500. Multiply that by 500. What does that get you? Pardon? 25 what? Million. Yes, that's the one I wanted to hear. How many of us play Monopoly? Or have ever played Monopoly? It's again, Sam has played Monopoly. Honorable Finn has played Monopoly. Let's play some Monopoly. This time for real. Where do you want to buy real estate? Liverpool. Somebody shout at him. Where do you want to buy real estate? Something good. Eppington. I'll challenge you. Let's do Vaucluse. Let's do the maths. It's too expensive. We've got, how much does the houses in Vaucluse cost? I did some Googling up. The average is 1.45 million to 7.7 million, right? Let's do an average of 5 million. So the figure you have right now, divide by 5 million, please. 5 houses. 5 houses in Vaucluse. Boom. You haven't borrowed from anybody. Right? What is the average rent in Vaucluse? Who knows? The average rent? Huh? How much, madam? 1,000 multiplied. How much? I know because you don't live there. Google told me it is about 3,000. That's the average. Multiply that figure by 3,000. That's per week. Please. What do you get? Per week, how much? What is that? Multiply that by 52 weeks. Where are we headed to? Somebody shout a figure from there. Pardon? 7? Yes. Close to 1 million there. Close to 1 million. That is what is coming in. The value of numbers. I'll give you one more example, just to get our minds going. This is the last one, I trust me. 2021 report. The remittances from Australia, for all Africans, back to Africa. Who wants to guess? 1.48 billion. Oh, the councillor knows it. 1.48 billion. That's how much we shipped up. Please put that figure there. 1.48 billion. Mugomi.
Can't fit my phone.
Oh yeah. It will take 1.48 billion. Richard, please, you're the accountant. 1.48 billion. That is US. So you are going to multiply that by Zioka. We did this. Multiply that by 1.5. What do you get? 2.2 billion. Now, we are not greedy. We are not greedy. We want you to take the money back to Africa. We want to help your relatives. We want, as Esther said, we want our relatives to go to school, to help them in education. Yes. So let us just keep 10% to us. Even God asks for 10%. We just want to retain 10%. So that figure you got there, multiplied by 0.1. What do you get? 220? How many houses in Mancruz? Divide by 5 million again. What do you get, Dylan? Bingo. How much? 42 houses. This is the money we took back home. This is the money you've been working so hard. Unfortunately, this is the same money that actually was misused, some good proportion of it. How many have been cheated when they send money home for this project and then it doesn't happen? Yes, you're not the only African. Yeah, it happens. 90% doesn't go to your project. I believe, just to conclude, and this committee really believes that aggregating our skills, human resource, and capital, coupled with selfless commitment, with our time, this synergy will catapult our success quickly and safely to astronomical levels. I want you to consider this as my last question. We are the first wave of African Australians here. And in the next 50 to 100 years, well, many of us will not be there. As our story unfolds, what legacy do you want to leave for your great-grandchildren? And my fellow brothers and sisters, time to act it now. If you go, or you want to go fast, you can do it alone. But I believe for many of us that want to go far, join the ADC. Thank you.
Wow, that's very, very well articulated, Mutwanene. I think a few things we took away from that, but I think one of the ones that sort of just sat with me, to be honest, is when you said no one gives you a place at the table. No one will give you a place at the table. And unfortunately, do you know where my mind went? It went back to the scramble for independence. I think all African countries were colonized, apart from, I think, one or two, or maybe three. So Ethiopia and Djibouti, maybe, and Liberia. But the rest were colonized. And you know what happened is that when the colonialists left, we had to buy back the land that they had taken. You know? So no one gives you anything. I mean, that's the thing that came to my mind. And nothing, even when it's yours, it's taken away, you still have to fight for it. I mean, that's the thing that came to my mind, especially because, you know, my grandparents were part of the, you know, independence fighters, those people. Anyway, but many things that we take there. So I think because we'll just take a short break to let it all sink in. And then when we come back, we'll do a Q&A session where we'll ask questions. I have many questions in my head for the committee in terms of, so it's all well said. I love the thought of childcare centers for the kids. I love the thought of nursing homes, because we know there are very many nursing homes. I've worked in a nursing home myself. So I've worked in a Greek nursing home. I've worked, there are all these nursing homes. So to imagine that maybe an African one would be nice. So I think we all have questions. So let's take a short break, about 5 minutes. Before we take a short break, Mr. Sambine, I forgot to give you a gift for coming. Africans are very generous like that. We always have a gift. So I'll get Dr. Nadine to present that to Mr. Bine. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Thank you very much. Again, Nadine, we need to capture the moment. Lest we forget. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so let's stand up, stretch, have a coffee, and then you come back ready to ask lots of questions. We're doing 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes. When you hear the music change to something, we'll call you back.
Yeah, we need to give some conversation. Yeah, he learned.